Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Game number 3 between Nada and MorroW. We are, of course, tied up 1-1 right now in this best-of-3 series between these two players. And this time we are on Terminus RE. And let me tell you something about this map. I do not know what the heck the problem is, but on this map, you cannot lower this crap down here. So my post-game recaps on this map, I know in the last game that I cast on this map, I was like, why can't I do this on the recap? It's the map itself. That's all it is. This cannot be lowered on this map. I have no idea. So when I do the post-game recap for game number 3, this stupid bar stuff will still be down here for one reason or another. If anyone has a fix for this, let me know, but I can't figure it out because Control W usually does the trick. It's what is supposed to be used to minimize this area, but it does not work when casting or watching a replay on Terminus RE. So yes, of course, we are on Terminus RE, game number 3 between MorroW and Nada, tied up 1-1. Been some interesting games nonetheless. I can't say they've been the most epic games, the most absurdly fantastic games, but they've been fun to watch. They've been fun to commentate. Hopefully they've been fun to watch. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed them. And I'm going to be looking forward to see how this one plays out. We can see right now, Nada going to be moving out with his scout, and nope, that is a wall off. There you go. Very interesting position here. Could be going for the barracks wall off over here. The reason I say that's interesting, the wall's probably going to be going in this position, is because he still has to contend with these rocks right here. So it's a little bit of a frustrating scenario. You know, you go for that wall off, but these rocks can easily be taken care of. And I mean, hell, if MorroW, I'm just assuming, of course, that there's going to be Marines and an expansion. that's a pretty obvious assumption, but that's going to be the assumption that I'm going to make. And with that, if we saw roaches from MorroW, he would bust through these rocks, walk up here, and the Marines would do crap because Marines are terrible against roaches. We can see this drone harassment doing a pretty good job of actually trying to disrupt this wall, but at the same time, Nada clearly knows what he's doing and is able to fend this off, actually turning around about face there on that worker and trying to take him out. Is the drone going to get the kill, though? It might. Ooh, very close. Forced to push off. Just barely unable to get that. He's still going to try for it, I think, though. Are we going to see repair? No, Nada's actually not repairing it. Why, you may ask? Why doesn't he repair it just to ensure that that doesn't die? Well, because repairing costs resources, and spending those resources sets you back in your build and everything else you plan on doing. So that's exactly why he's not doing it. MorroW over here coming up with that same build we've seen him do every single game, going with that hatch, then that pool, and then comes the extractor. Should be sometime relatively soon. So let's, of course, take a look at precisely what Nada is going to be doing. I, of course, expect 2 racks pressure with Marines, SCVs, and then the expansion. That seems precisely what we're going to be seeing. That's a fairly logical guesstimation, if you will. We can see right now Nada moving out with his scout, first checking this incorrect position, then he will be actually going clear across the board. He is expecting that cross. No, he's already got the scout there with that other SCV. So going to be heading on over with this SCV to help join the harassment here. Going to be 2 SCVs and 3 Marines walking right on in. Looks like we do have a bunker. Interesting placement here. Very, very far from where the actual harassment is going to be taking place. So typically you're going to see that bunker much closer. Now, why is Nada placing it here? Well, Nada's placing it here so just so that it doesn't get spotted, and he has that backward position to kind of fall back and retreat to. Now, this is going to help him deal with Zerglings, but it's not going to help him harass that Expo. But I guess all he cares about is how he's going to be able to deal with those Zerglings. So going to be seeing that stutter step action again, doing what they can to drop those Marines. But no, the Marines actually, I don't think he's lost a single Marine. He lost some SCVs, but he only had those 3 initial Marines. He could have lost 1. I could be wrong and be forced to come forward with a few more right now. Finally, those Marines do get dropped. 1 does make it in the bunker. Here's that second bunker placement. Okay, so the first bunker was attempting to defend that second placement, but unfortunately for Nada, we do have the spine crawl up, and that, of course, made it so that was forced to get canceled right there. So we're going to be seeing that Expo. Yes, here it is. Expo coming down. Going to still keep up this Marine aggression, try to do a bit of harassment. Going to be much more difficult, of course, with this Spine Crawler in play. In fact, Spine Crawlers just tear through Marines, so I wouldn't be all too surprised if he just decides to hightail it out of there at this point. Now, we do only have a couple of Zerglings, and a really great thing that actually this is doing for Nada is it's making so that MorroW can't move out to scout. But actually, no, a little bit worried about getting that full surround if he had made more Zerglings. As we can see, MorroW hasn't even bothered making more Zerglings, but what Nada was worried about that, so just actually canceling and pulling back there. But he's denied scouting for quite a bit. Now, clearly, MorroW knows what to expect. He's going to expect this expansion. He's going to expect some more Marines here as well. Now, we do have another barracks coming up, so yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing that same general build that we saw last game. Marine tank worked quite well for Nada last game, but let's see how MorroW responds. Let's take a look. He's now able to push out. He's got some breathing room. Going to try to get some map control. He's got vision with these El Nagas. Going to be moving on in, and he's seeing Marine heavy, so it looks like Nada is going to be going for another heavy follow-up with just Marines. And again, it's really going to come down to how MorroW is able to deal with it. 16 Zerglings, that's how he's going to deal with it. We got a ton of Zerglings coming out right now for MorroW, and that's going to basically handle this pretty much no problem. He's going to still have to deal with that stutter step micro, but 16 is going to be more than enough if he tries to wrap up, get us around, and then roll from there. And the Bathing Nest coming out as well, so MorroW going to be going again for some really early game aggression. We did see last game did push in the later stages of the game, and MorroW had a really hard time dealing with the harassment of Nada in those late stages, so maybe a little bit concerned about having to deal with that again. We're going to see MorroW just go for some early aggressive play. So there's that metabolic boost, almost 50% of the way finished, and we have that Baneling's Nest almost 50% of the way finished as well. Now again, with these Xel'Nagas, we can see right now MorroW is aware that this push hasn't come yet, but here we go. Push is working its way on out, and let's check his scouting. Zerglings catching right the edge of that right there, and actually still going to be making it on in, but he has spotted the fact that this push is in fact coming. Now that's a full wall off. No, yes it is. Full wall off, so Zergling's not going to be able to push in. Maybe just try to do a little bit of harassment, but it's going to be a problem right now for Nada because Nada is dealing with a lot of Zerglings. 22 more in production, 42 on the board, 22 more coming. So obviously not too concerned about his economy right now. MorroW just wants to do a lot of damage. There's that Baneling's Nest. Is he going to come out with any Banelings for this push? No, just going to use Speedlings. Wants to make sure that that Baneling's Nest doesn't get scouted though. So here we go, pushing on in. We can see Nada has not seen that Baneling's Nest. That's so many Zerglings right now. My, oh my, here comes the expected counterattack, mopping up all of those Marines, going to be moving out right away for a counterattack. Now, he has got to be concerned about this push. How is he going to deal with it? He does not know about that Baneling Nest yet. He has not spotted that Baneling Nest. He has no idea that Banelings are coming. I'm surprised he's not trying to doubly reinforce this wall because those Banelings are going to tear right through it. But I guess if you don't know the Banelings are here, how would you know to prepare for them? This is going to be a tough situation for Nada. I do not think he's going to stand much of a chance. Zergling's also going to start trying to work on these rocks to have that back entrance. We can't see right now. Oh, that's what the problem is. Nada's trying to defend both these bases. He can't doubly reinforce this because he's spending so many resources trying to defend this area as well. So here comes the Baneling bust right through the center. Going to be concentrating on one of those barracks, burning right through two of them, walking right on in. Baneling's going straight for that depot as well. So many Zerglings right now in the main base. Nada does not have enough to deal with this. Zerglings mopping up everything at the expo, walking right into the main as well, forcing the GG from Nada. Alright, so Nada opened up this game again, just like last game with some 2 racks aggression. Now, this game, MorroW was able to much more easily fend it off, and he actually didn't overcommit with his Zergling production. So after fending it off, he was then able to just work on his economy, get it up nice and strong, and then pump out a ton of Zerglings after the fact. So as you can see here, after fending off the aggression, MorroW just worked on his economy, as I mentioned, getting up a lot of drones, and then he started to work to get his metabolic boost as well. After realizing that 2-Rex pressure didn't do as much damage as he has hoped, we did see Nada finish that wall off, get up his expo, and start to work his way up to the higher tech. It looks like he was intending on going for that same Marine tank build that we did see him do in game number 2. With having the Xel'Naga towers and moving out with a scouting Zergling, MorroW did spot the Marine pressure that was coming, the secondary attack from Nada. This allowed him to mount up a heavy force of Zerglings. He also had a Baneling Nest right in the corner. When that secondary Marine pressure finally moved in, we saw MorroW move in with a very nice surround, getting his Zerglings completely around all of the Marines and stopping them from doing any stutter step micro at all, and then he moved out for his counterattack. Now, unfortunately for Nada, because of these back destructible rocks, he had to wall in this back entrance to his expansion as well as the front. This made it so that he couldn't doubly reinforce that front wall, and this allowed those Banelings to easily roll in right through these 2 barracks, letting all of these Banelings and Zerglings straight into the main base and expansion of Nada, and that is what forced the GG. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoy the content, please do go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This was a pretty interesting series between these 2 players. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And as always guys, keep watching and keep owning.